I get
On the
down
floor.
on the floor.
On the floor.
I get down. Real good, get down on the floor, on the floor. Did you see this? Passion of the Christ 2?
Yes.
2 Christier?
He is risen.
Again.
I mean, the first one does end like a Marvel movie, funny enough.
Right, I mean, the movie ends with the crucifixion, right? Not with him... Or does he come back?
I think there, if I'm remembering correctly, because I've only seen this movie once, it ends with like a light and like him resurrected. But you don't, it's not explicit.
Okay.
But
man,
for readers of the book, you'll get it.
I wish it was like a horror movie or something. Where it's like, just
out of the rock.
Yeah, no. You got Mel Gibson coming back, and you got Mr. Jim Caviezel.
JC himself.
And, yeah. I mean, now it makes so much more sense for these two guys to do this movie. Like, back when they first did it, it was like, whoa.
Yeah.
But now you're like, of course Mel Gibson would direct Passion of the Christ 2. What are they even going to call it? They can't call it Passion of the Christ 2.
No.
It's got to be like Passion of the Christ subtitle, right?
I mean, it's probably going to be He Is Risen or something like that. You know, you don't need the branding of Passion of the Christ.
No. Oh, I don't know. Maybe you do though. I think you might, because of how long it's been since the first one. I think you might need some of that branding.
Maybe. I just think you get a big enough budget movie with Jesus in it, and people are going to show up. Certain people will show up.
I mean, yeah, sure.
And you market it as like from the people who brought you Passion of the Christ.
Right, which is essentially calling it Passion of the Christ.
Directed by Mel Gibson.
I think, though, when he first did it, I remember. Do you remember when it was like when it came out? Like how people acted.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I remember people were like, "We gotta go and see."
It was an event movie.
Yeah, it was like, we need to go see.
It was like
movie.
Avatar.
And I did not see it in theaters because I was like, hell no.
Well, entire like church groups were going, you know, like they.
Yeah. Oh yeah. When I was still going to church, my church went and saw it.
Yeah.
Everybody was talking about it. We got to go see this movie. The Passion of the Christ. And then, you know, people, it has a 49% on Rotten Tomatoes. I love that there were enough critics to be like, that movie sucked.
Yeah. Can't recommend it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you shouldn't go see it. Monica Bellucci was Mary Magdalene. Forgot that.
Yeah, I didn't remember that.
Rosalinda Celentano was the devil. I'm trying to see what its box office, because I know it was crazy. Yeah. $612 million on a $30 million budget. I like the plot synopsis of the Bible.
In case you haven't heard this one yet.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. 3 years later, or 3 days, 3 years later, be a different book. 3 days later, he rises from the dead and exits the tomb.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert for people who haven't
go.
watched Passion of the Christ or haven't
Yeah.
been in a church lately.
I mean, as a movie, it's bad storytelling.
Yeah.
Because it's just, he suffers and dies for 2 hours, and then 5 minutes, he gets out.
Yeah. And then that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, you really need more of the stuff when he comes back.
Yeah.
That's the real movie. So, honestly...
Or more of the stuff before he gets crucified, of, you know, him
Right.
performing miracles.
Well, but he performs a lot of miracles when he comes back. I mean, he performs the ultimate miracle of coming
sure.
back from the dead.
Ta-da!
But there is more miracles to be done
Yeah.
once he comes back.
Sure. Yeah. And it's more hopeful after the Old Testament
So
ends.
it's like a good movie, or it could be a very full uplifting movie.
Yeah.
This new one. Although I don't know, in the hands of Mel Gibson and Jim Caviezel, I don't know if it's going to be this like feel good.
I don't
story.
know if he can make a feel good movie.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Anyway.
Anywhoser.
I don't know. I'm going to keep that in. Passion of the Christ. Just in case you guys wanted our opinion on the sequel.
Yeah.
Passion 2. Electric Boogaloo.
Even Christier.
Getting Christier. Too Christ, too furious. All right. My name is Marco Dupa.
You don't have to do your clap?
No, I think I'll just find the...
Okay.
I'll find it.
All right.
I'll find it. Why did you... It
just doesn't feel right
Yeah.
without the clap. That doesn't sound good.
I'll find it.
Thank you.
It'll be right there.
Okay.
My name is Marco Dupa. And that guy right there, that's the great and powerful Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
What's up, Brewskis?
Tonight's brew is another Oktoberfest. As you know that we're in the season for some Oktoberfest beers. Who's this from? Crooked Can? Yes. You can tell by the art design on the label. They're Bürgermeister Oktoberfest. So Obi's going to have a little bit more about that after the break. What's on tap for tonight? Well, we got a juicy one, folks. The Avengers level event of KSI, Logan Paul, and the man himself, Mr. Beast, have combined to take on Big Lunchable.
Yeah.
And if you look into the details, which is what the devil is there, with every product that these guys seem to come out with.
Yeah. The closer you look, the worse it gets.
So we're going to talk about that.
Yeah. And we also have, on happier news, some updates on the next Battlefield Vigi game.
Yeah. And then, in less happy news, we're going up and we're going
It's a
down.
roller coaster ride for you guys.
Diddy has been indicted.
They indicted
me. And the details are pretty harrowing. So
yeah. The closer you look at that one, the worse it gets too.
So we're gonna talk about that a little bit, just because we talked about it before when it first happened, and I think guys like us, hip hop heads, East Coast guys, Diddy was just like a really big part of our childhood. So it's it's this reckoning with how horrible these men are.
Yeah.
So
who knew moguls could be bad?
Who knew?
Crazy.
But before we get into any of that, we got to get into this show proper. So, without further ado, this is episode 438 of the One Beer In podcast.
Glug.
Lost to be found by someone to save you when you're down. Yes, I'm bored when it's bright out. So bored when it's bright out. 4 to 5 a.m. takes me to a place
that?
where I fit in.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, I haven't seen a commercial for Red Robin in a while. The commercials that you do see now, though, unless you're watching like cable TV,
Sure.
if you're watching like ads on a streaming service, for instance, which is, by the way, really fucked up.
Yeah.
So that we just laid down and just let them run over us with ads, even though that was the initial promise of streaming. That was the biggest. We used to watch Netflix, and there was just absolute filth on there.
Yeah.
The worst of the worst.
It inspired us to start watching bad movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at least
We didn't have a choice.
we could just pop in there and just start watching stuff without any kind of ad tier program or any kind of like, we're gonna.
Well, you get the DVDs or you stream. That's it.
Yeah. And now here we are with pretty much every single streaming service is like, just throw a little ad in there.
Sure.
even if it's just ads for their own stuff, it's like, I know what's on here, man.
Yeah.
I got the thing. And
We see that even with like HBO, which is crazy.
Yeah, you can skip them for now.
Yeah.
But still, before your show starts, they show you an ad, and it's like, I didn't have to watch ads when I was paying for this on cable.
It's not that I care that much about that, little preview of something ahead of time. In fact, it's like a nice, palate cleanser before you get into your actual movie or whatever. But as soon as I saw it, I'm like, no, this is a slippery slope. Yeah. This is only going to get worse.
Yeah.
Please don't do this to me, Max. I don't want you to go the way of all these other streamers.
Who even knows what's going to go on with that? Because I read something. I don't know if they've kind of updated on this or anything, but I've read that they're like trying to separate again. They're trying to. It's like there's so many different tentacles that are grabbing onto all these different things, and they're like letting go of like, you know what? We actually don't want Discovery, so you can have that.
Take it back.
And, I don't know. That's not what we're here to talk about this week. What we're here to talk about first and foremost is what we are drinking tonight. So, Obi, please tell the people what it is. Are you okay? There's a Pantene Pro V commercial.
Golden Bachelor's on right now. I'm so.
Oh, right.
Wow.
Sorry, guys. We're gonna cut everything short. Golden Bachelor is on right now. So, this has been the One Beer In podcast. Now, go ahead, please tell the people what we're drinking tonight.
We have the. I have to assume it's pronounced Bürgermeister.
Bürgermeister.
It has an umlaut for the first U.
Yeah.
Oktoberfest from Crooked Can Brewing, and it does have a cold read, folks.
Love a Bürger.
Goes as follows. In the true tradition of Bavarian Oktoberfest, the Munich Lord Mayor, the Bürgermeister, kicks off the festivities with tapping the first keg by saying, "Oh, Zaps is." It's tapped in English. We bring you this simulation of long-established tradition.
Simulation?
It's what it says, simulation. Of long-established tradition in a can with mellifluous Oktoberfest archetype for your enjoyment. Der Genos. Prost. Andy, Alan, and Todd. Coming in at 5.5% ABV from Crooked Can Brewing Company.
All right. Zero Zapt is.
Zapt.
Cool. Anyway, let's do this. We are your Bürgermeisters of this lovely podcast. And let's just get ripping and rolling into
tap
it.
into it.
All right. You got the Battlefield stuff pulled up. But okay, there it is. Okay, thank you.
I'm ready.
Thank you. All right. Here we go, kids. And kids, I mean, that's who is going to be concerned with this sort of thing.
You kids, listen up, okay?
It's adults who still eat Lunchables and children.
Yeah.
And scientists and government agencies and people who care about the well-being of children. They're also concerned about this sort of thing. So
Sure.
You want to give a little context to this whole thing?
Sure. So, Mr. Beast, Logan Paul, and KSI, all, mammoth creators on the internet, have made what they call a groundbreaking new better-for-you lunch option. It's called Lunchly. And it's supposed to be a competitor against Lunchables, which are known to be not very good for you, as you may have guessed. The kind of background for this is that specifically Mr. Beast and Logan Paul have their own food and drink companies going on in the background.
Right.
And
Mr. Beast thing has been heavily criticized.
Yeah,
and also
yeah.
so is Logan Paul's, I guess.
Yeah, both of them have for either not being healthy, being promoted as things that they actually aren't, like the energy drink that isn't, or at least wasn't clearly labeled as an energy drink, and kids were starting to go nuts.
I'm in my prime.
And then
I'm in my prime.
There was a lot of controversy around Mr. Beast's entire food division.
Yeah.
First of all, with the ghost kitchens.
Yeah. What's that YouTuber's name? Eddie Burback.
Right.
Does a great video.
Oh yeah.
on ghost kitchens and specifically Mr. Beast's Beastie Burgers or something.
Beast Burgers.
Beast Burger.
Burgers. So yeah, that's out there to look for if you want more information on that. But then also there's the entire side of things with the candy company. The
the
Beastables.
I don't know.
Beastable. He's been making chocolate, essentially doing kind of a Willy Wonka thing, where if you get a certain amount of chocolates, you can get prizes or be up for winning stuff, which is what Mr. Beast is known for, is like
or you can get
contests.
trapped in one of his videos.
Yeah,
Where
exactly.
they poke and prod you for half an hour.
Yeah. But you could become a millionaire.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of controversy around that. A lot of people saying that it's essentially getting kids to, first of all, buy or have their parents buy unhealthy food, and also priming them, no pun intended, for gambling. So that's been kind of the main thing on this section of Mr. Beast's entire franchise that he's created. There's other stuff as well. We won't get into that right now. And then it seems like KSI was pulled in because, he's a big name.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, him and Logan Paul are the ones who run Prime.
Yeah. Prime Hydration.
Like, that's their collaboration.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. It's them together. So with their powers combined,
Must be
it
like
makes
their
sense.
food division.
Yeah. It makes perfect sense that this is happening. However, as we said before, like, the more you look at it, apparently, the worse it gets. So what they're considering to be a healthier option compared to Lunchables is, like, very arguable, apparently. According to dietitians and other people in the know, still not healthy. Now, the counter to that is that they don't technically say it's healthy. They say it's healthier, which, if you look at it based on the facts, you can kind of see what they're getting at. There's real cheese in it. The meat product is better quality.
So instead of calling it healthier, just say it's a higher quality Lunchable.
And that's the safer way to go about this. It's as easy as that. But instead, it was very clear that the angle and I would assume the entire impetus, besides obviously, like, we are titans in this section of the internet, let's get together and make $1 bajillion, is that, hey, there is a desire for a healthier Lunchable. Let's put our stuff in it, and technically it will be healthier than, like, Oscar Mayer garbage.
Yeah.
See,
but that's the first thing I'm wondering is, was there a conversation in these circles to come up with a better option? Is there some kind of, like, marketing genius in their team who's like, what space hasn't been invaded and flipped on its head?
Lunchables.
The poor person's charcuterie board.
Sure, yeah.
We could just slip right in there and compare ourselves to, a 50, 60, 70-year brand.
Yeah.
And say we're like... First, also, by the way, Lunchables are here to stay, okay?
Oh, sure,
They're a titan in the industry that they've created, which is...
Owned by Kraft Heinz, by the way.
And if you think they're going down without a fight...
Oh, no.
And also, there are already...
I was about to say this.
Lunchable, healthier ones, sexier ones,
high protein.
Yeah. So this isn't. We've been down this road.
Yes, but they don't have Mr. Beast.
Honestly, though, that's pretty big.
Oh, it's huge. I mean, I'm not trying to poo-poo on this concept, because clearly it is going to sell gangbusters.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah.
This is going to be. I have zero doubt this is going to be a smash hit.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to follow up by saying, however, that is the concern, is that this will now be like, this will take over from kids actually getting a healthy food option, instead of it being a thing of like, okay, mom or dad didn't have time to make you a lunch today, just grab a Lunchable and go.
Yeah.
It's going to be, no, I don't want to have anything else except for Lunchly.
Yeah.
Because my favorite creators are behind it.
Right.
And I'm a stan for Prime energy drink or whatnot.
Right.
Or electrolyte drink. And therein lies the danger of this entire thing, because when your audience is predominantly children, you need to take extra care to not take advantage of those people.
Yeah. Well, that's what you're supposed to do.
You should.
If you have morals and now listen, all I can do is judge these people based off their actions and the content of their character, which is all, you know, what all MLK told us to do.
Sure.
And from what I've seen so far, I just cannot. I see. Okay, like, you know, I watch wrestling. You see it.
Oh yeah, there you go.
And I see Logan Paul out there, and he's doing his thing. But wrestlers usually aren't good dudes.
Yeah.
So I don't have any illusions that Logan Paul is all of a sudden like turned over some new leaf, like he's a, you know, so as a person, you know, I can respect and acknowledge what all three of these guys kind of bring to the table as far as their talents and their, you know, their business acumen, their notoriety, all of that stuff. But as far as like, I mean, obviously this isn't for us, right? We're too old for this kind of stuff. Like I had a Lunchable the other day, and that's because I was.
You don't need to explain yourself.
Oh no, I don't feel.
You can have a Lunchable.
I don't feel bad about it. I'm just giving you guys a context as to how I got to a Lunchable. I was at work. My job, my bar is in a plaza, so at the end of the plaza is a gas station. I was running late, didn't have anything to eat yet, so I popped into the gas station, and lo and behold, there's Lunchables in the cooler. And I said, you know, I haven't had a Lunchable in years.
That's a perfect use case for a Lunchable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was in the store the other day, and I saw they're selling Prime in the coolers where they sell all the other, like, you know, Bai and the coconut water and all like the like alternative energy drinks that are not Red Bull and Monster.
Yeah.
And it's in there now. And I just looked at it and I was like, there's just no, I'm not even curious as to how it tastes. Like I have no desire to support these guys in any way that like I can with my wallet. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's the pro and con of having such a big personality behind your brand.
And attaching your personality to the very reason why you should buy this thing.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing is like, clearly they don't need you. They don't need me. They don't need anyone who's turned off by the entire Logan Paul brand because they're doing just fine without us.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But, you know, it is the people who aren't as savvy or mature to be able to say, I'm not going to put that in my body just because I'm a fan of the creator.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think the point you made earlier is that's I think that's the biggest thing. I think that's the biggest takeaway from all this is because when I first thought about this, I was like, well, I mean, it's disingenuous at worst to come in and be like, something's got to change in this industry, and it's Lunchables. And here we are with our Lunchable.
Right.
I saw it and I was like,
Yeah. Like, what are you solving here?
Right. If they're just going to make a Lunchable and then attach their names to it and call it something else, it's like, it's really just a capitalistic move this industry's wide open for us to come in and do this. But your point, though, about it's not going to be some snacky thing or like some alternative to cooking or like, hey, I'm in a pinch.
Yeah.
No, you're right. They're going to be these kids watching 8, 9, 10-hour streams and taking down like 10
Yeah.
fucking Lunchables all day.
Get 'em at Costco.
Or Lunchleys or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're going to
giant-
get a box of them.
A pallet of Lunchly.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know, man. Like, obviously, the responsibility there falls on the parents
Absolutely,
to be, to be in their kids' lives and to say, like, no, we're going
To be
cook
able to
some
say no
food.
to their kid.
Yeah, yeah. And to be like, this is the reason why you're not going to eat a Lunchly every day, you know. But I don't know, man. I don't have any hope for that kind of thing.
Sure.
I do have a question about Mr. Beast.
Okay.
I don't know if we've ever like really talked at length about Mr. Beast.
I don't know. I'm sure he's come up before.
Yeah, I think we've talked about him a little bit, but I really and you can just answer this in like a few short words. You don't really have to if you don't want to like expound too much on this. But I'm just curious, what about his content do you think is so attractive to people? Because essentially he's a game show host.
Kinda, yeah.
And he creates these weird games where he puts people in weird situations and I mean, obviously now lately he's been doing the thing where he's like, I went to Africa and I saved a bunch of kids and that's the content. But that's not what got him here. What got him here was the weird games that he would put people through. What about that do you think is so alluring to people that got him to be the most subscribed to person in the world?
So I think that it was a right place, right time situation at the start.
Yeah.
And then I think from there it became a thing of first of all, was savvy enough to use his money the right way and build upon his brand. We've talked about this off air a little bit, and this is no diss to Mr. Beast, but he doesn't really have a personality.
Yeah.
Like an identifiable personality in that way that like Logan Paul does.
He doesn't have a persona. He
A
doesn't
persona,
have like
yeah. He doesn't have a strong personality.
Yeah.
Like
He's just this guy.
he's like he's a straight man, kind of. It's just the things that he does. It's pretty good. It's the things that he does and the situations that he puts people in and the money involved that is really alluring to people. So I think it all started out with a time and place thing, but then I think that he has a lot of teeth.
Yeah, I was just thinking about how weird it is to smile with both teeth or with both rows of teeth.
Yeah.
That's not a natural smile. I've never done this before. Or someone has to coach you to like, hey man, like just act like you're laughing. Just be happy.
Aggressive.
Like
aggressive smile.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just calm down. We don't need to see the bottom row of your
true.
teeth. That's a weird smile.
You look like when they say chimps smile because they're actually aggravated and trying to like
They're
get
like,
you to go
"Arr."
away, and they do the.
Like, you're like, oh look, he's smiling. He's about to rip your.
You're gonna
face
rip
off.
your face off. Literally, he's gonna rip
wear
your
it.
face off. That's what Mr. Beast inspires in me. But no, I think it's two main things. It's that he was in the right place in the right time, was able to get enough money and notoriety from the things he was doing at the start, which was obviously interesting enough content. And then it only got bigger because he invested in himself and his videos and upping the ante consistently.
Yeah.
And continuing to grow his fan base, in especially investing into that younger fan base of kids who, they'll be your fans for decades, until they're grown up, and then, you have a loyal fan base of like Mr. Beast fans, and then your brand continues to prosper for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
because you started off with a kid that was 6 when he first started watching your videos, and then if you can maintain that. And maintain your brand with Feastables and Lunchly and all this other stuff. I mean, who's to say that his brand won't last another 20, 30 years?
I mean, as long as he keeps his nose clean. I mean, even in the controversies that he's had, he's kind of just he'll maybe say one or two things, and then he kind of bows out and just kind of lets the all the temperatures come down a little bit, and he's just like, all right, now we're back to regularly scheduled programming.
He's played the game almost perfectly.
He really has. He really has.
So,
I mean, even when his friend, there was that whole thing with one of his co-hosts who was a trans person, and he came out and he supported them.
Yeah.
And then you find out that person, even though they're trans, they were still doing some really fucked up stuff.
Right.
And then he had to kind of back away from it. I think he should have stood on it and been like, just because they're trans, it's not...
Their
it
transness isn't
it doesn't
a part of them
inform
being a gross freak.
Yeah.
That's separate.
They just were.
Right.
It has nothing to do with them being trans.
Right. But no, he's savvy enough to back away and not say another word when it doesn't add something for himself or his brand.
Yeah.
That's smart.
I think what he's done has been to be... I think he makes the same kind of content that, like, it's a prank bro guys do. Obviously not as aggressive
antagonistic,
or gross. Yeah. But it's the same... I think it hits the same... center of your
exploitation,
brain, right?
It's still exploitation,
right?
It's just exploitation with a smile.
Exactly. And I think that's what he's done so tremendously.
Yeah,
is play the background. It's probably good that he doesn't have a persona.
Absolutely.
You can't attach any kind of belief system to him. You can't make any illusions about who he may be.
Yeah.
He's never been very upfront politically, or he's never really taken a stance on many things. So his public persona is milquetoast.
Yeah.
But it's positivity. He's helping people. Even when he puts people in these weird games and people are like, well, there's something morally not right about like recreating Squid Game, for instance.
Right.
But people still go home with millions of dollars.
Right.
And you get to know these people, and they seem like your friends. They seem like people that you could find yourself in a room with. They're like all normal people.
He's maintained a normal person persona.
Yeah. It's crazy.
He's not a normal person.
Kind of weird for him. He's not a normal person.
No.
Don't make any mistake.
Kids,
He is not a normal person. That dead, full teeth smile. There's something ain't right about that. Okay.
Yeah. There's something wicked in there.
And I think that it's interesting that he would take a chance on teaming with KSI and Logan Paul. I don't think he needs to. I think
no, he doesn't.
I think
he could have done it on his own.
Could have just done it on his own, and it would have been fine. Beastly's, Beastly meal.
Yeah,
could have been a Lunchable. Could have been fun.
Yeah. Partner with like vitamin water or something. I don't know.
I bet you it was their idea, and they came to him and was like, "If we bring you on board, we're gonna take over the world."
That would be the savvy move,
and they probably will, dude. That's the crazy part. They probably will.
Yep.
It's one of those things. It's like, who needed? Do you think the Lunchable industry needed revolutionizing?
Well, I mean, especially the fact that they're leveraging this as like a healthier alternative.
Yeah, and they're saying like it's us v them, and it's like, just make your Lunchable and go, bro.
Shut up here. We don't need this.
We don't need this.
Right.
So I don't know. We'll see when the profits start hitting.
Yeah.
And it's another couple $1 million in all of their banks.
A couple million. It's gonna be more than that.
Right. And their net worth all rises. All rise. Should be fun. Mm-hmm. Should be fun to watch.
How'd your kids?
Yeah. How'd your wife? Anyway, let's move on to some more positive news. Some stuff that we can all get down with. And that's some video game news.
Video games.
Yeah. Plug in. So we got some updates on the new Battlefield game.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So we got all this stuff about Call of Duty, Black Ops, and all these other games. But, hey, EA still got something cooking, okay? And it sounds like we might have something good on our hands. So, you want to give the people some details?
I would love to. I'm going to read from InsiderGaming.com. It's been a good week for Battlefield fans. To start, the head honcho of Battlefield, Vince Zampella, confirmed many details on Insider Gaming's past reporting, including that Battlefield would return to 64-player matches, the classic 4-class system, and a more, quote, back-to-basics approach. Battlefield General Manager Byron Beede also revealed that the game... GM, yeah.
How does that work?
I had no idea.
Are you sure it wasn't Game Master?
Yes. The Lord of Games, Byron Bede.
Byron Bede.
Also revealed that the game will have, quote, large-scale community-driven testing early next year. In addition to stating that the game has had nearly daily internal testing for over a year. Zampella also confirmed a, quote, new experience from Ripple Effect, which Insider Gaming has reported will be Battlefield's take on a new free-to-play battle royale to tie in with the game's premium release.
Let's go.
Akin to how Call of Duty found success with Call of Duty Warzone.
It's called Ripple Effect?
Yes.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no.
How'd that happen?
I poured it a little strong. Don't question me. Who's the bartender here?
Exactly. That's my question.
Any more, anything else?
Yeah, one more quote here. So what's new? Following our original report and the recent confirmation of those details, we want to dive into some of the nitty-gritty details that players might want to hear. To start, let's focus on the core of the game. Insider Gaming understands that the game will take place somewhere between 2027 and 2030. Will take place. That freaked me out for a second. It's not coming out in those dates. Takes place between 2027 and 2030, with a campaign focused on a massive private military going up against NATO.
Ooh.
The game will be set in various locations worldwide, including Gibraltar, as seen in the game's first released concept art, and the USA, which is also believed to be the setting of the Battle Royale experience, in a tropical location.
No.
Sorry.
Done with the tropical locations.
Yeah. I mean, it goes on from there. You guys can read it yourself if you'd like. But those, I think, are the main pieces to pull from this article.
Yeah.
So, interesting.
I mean, we've talked about it before. Like, at their best, Battlefield's probably a more rewarding and strategic game to play.
I'm not afraid to say it's a better game.
Yeah.
It's a better game than Call of Duty.
I'd say they flip-flop. I definitely have enjoyed Call of Duty games more than Battlefield games in the past, but then I've definitely enjoyed Battlefield games more than Call of Duty games. I'll say this. Call of Duty at its best, the Battle Royale mode, Warzone,
Yeah.
and Resurgence specifically,
Mm-hmm.
I've had an incredible amount of fun with that. Battlefield, with its big maps, destructive environments, and vehicles, and 64 on 64. That is a very rewarding experience in and of itself. It's a completely different experience.
It is, yeah.
But it's close to sort of a battle royale mode. It's the size of it that makes you think like it's a bigger experience. It makes you feel more immersed.
Yeah.
Like 1-to-1 Battlefield's multiplayer experience, I believe, blows Call of Duty's multiplayer experience out of the water.
There's just more to do.
Yeah. There's more creativity,
Freedom.
Yeah.
Options, how to play.
It's just better.
You can be support. You can, position yourself in specific areas of the map because of your loadout. Mm-hmm. Like it. I don't know, it's just great.
Call of Duty, though, in Call of Duty's defense, which it doesn't need, it's a more individualistic game. You customize your loadout to its fullest ability, which Battlefield is kind of historically has kind of lacked in its customization. Like, you need to work with your players, with your team, with your individual squad, right? You can't all just pick the engineer and like just go in there guns a-blazing. Like you do need a medic, and you do need I forgot what the other class is to like
support, recon.
Yeah.
I forget what else.
There is a meta there, and there's a way to win with that kind of squad when it's balanced.
Yeah.
Call of Duty, if you can just go in there and be better than everyone else.
Sure, yeah.
And there is no real strategy.
It's far more twitchy.
And that is satisfying in its own right. When you're like, I'm just better at this video game than you. If we both pick this loadout, or I'm smarter with my loadout than you are. I'm faster. My reaction time is quicker. I'm just better than you at this game.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's you're not that you don't play in that like that kind of competitiveness. You play multiplayer games, but like you know, that kind of twitchy fucking fast pick, you know?
Look, I will say I do thrive in the Call of Duty multiplayer mode especially. I don't really play Warzone like that, or never really did. It was all multiplayer for me.
Yeah.
You know? And I enjoy the arcadey nature of it. I love how fast it is for what it is. I'm not trying to say, like, I'm better than Call of Duty. I am not. But I just find, like, if Battlefield would have been,
2044, I think it was
40, it's not, I don't, stop naming them.
Yeah, stop
years.
naming them weird stuff. That really, as far as their brand is concerned, like Battlefield 1.
Yeah.
Battlefield 2044 or 4044,
right.
whatever year. Like, don't do that.
No, 1940 something.
Yeah. Dude, just you can just follow Call of Duty and just call it Battlefield 1, Battlefield 2, Battlefield 3,
Battlefield Black Ops.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Battlefield Blops.
It's
fine.
Yeah. But yeah, the latest one that had come out, if it had come out the way it is today, I mean, I would probably still be playing it.
Yeah.
It didn't.
That's the other thing. It's EA, baby.
Yeah.
EA.
So mixed bag.
Yeah.
But I will say, I think, okay, it is kind of hard. It's kind of, you know, the more I think about it, the harder it is to figure out which is better. Because I was about to say,
we need Juan here. He
we
definitely
do. Oh, he would have opinions. Yeah.
Opinion on this.
If I were to take Battlefield 3 and 4 and combine how much fun I've had with those games and experiences I've had and playing online with friends and all the fun I put together total for those two games alone, it is close to, if not topping, the fun I've had with the best of Call of Duty.
Okay.
Now, there have been more Call of Duties, so take that for what you will. You know, obviously, growing up with, like, Modern Warfare and all that was incredible, lots of fun, but I mean, it has been diminishing returns for both of these franchises. I just feel like at its core, there's better stuff. The what makes up the game is far superior in Battlefield than it is Call of Duty. Call of Duty does its own thing, and it does it very well, though. I will give it that. There's a certain Call of Duty itch that is nice to scratch.
Yeah.
Is it worth a new game every year? I don't think so.
Nah, probably not.
But, you know.
But there isn't a lot of alternatives. And that's the thing about Call of Duty, is that they have created this niche where there are so many people that try to do their own Call of Duty thing.
Well, they used to.
We used to, yeah.
Medal of Honor came back out and flopped.
Yeah. But now, I mean, it's just like, it's called that, and that's why you can release a game every year, right?
Yeah.
And have very little competition as far as what you're doing. What was that?
Glasses.
Oh. As far as what you're doing, like there's other games that are like, oh, this is a Halo-esque game. This is
a squad shooter.
Yeah, but
hero shooter.
There's not a lot of just straight up. This is like a Call of Duty mimic. This is
yeah.
Because they've just basically cornered the market. It's like, why would you come out with your Call of Duty alternative when they're just going to come out with a new Black Ops this year?
Right.
That's gonna get everyone's attention.
And they have still three developers, if not more, working on Call of Duty every single year.
Yeah.
In rotation. Like it's a money making machine.
Yeah. It never stops. And then they can be like, here's Modern Warfare, here's Black Ops, they can just keep doing different versions of the same game.
That's what they've been doing.
Yeah. And then on top of that, you've got Warzone.
Right. Which is its own living, breathing thing now.
Yeah. And that thing is making money hand over fist.
Oh my God, yeah.
I can't even keep up with all the collab. Some of the stuff that they've done so far, it's like, I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, who do you think you are, Fortnite? It's like, Yeah, I mean,
Kind of.
Gundams versus Nicki Minaj. Like, it's,
Isn't there like velociraptors or something too?
I don't even know, man.
I think there's dinosaurs in there.
I check in every once in a while when somebody shares like a really weird thing that I'm like, that can't. I used to think these have to be mods,
No,
and
they're
now
not.
it's gotten to the point where like, no, this is just what they're doing.
You can pay for that now.
Yeah. So it's exciting for Battlefield, which is like, you know, not a Call of Duty mimic, but Call of Duty's like most successful competitor.
Yeah.
And it needs to be good, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It needs to come out and it needs to be good. And
Well,
it needs to have a giant player base, because the devs will continue to work on those games and update them and keep those servers live and because it feels like EA just kind of, they put their games out and then they kind of abandon them after a while, whereas Call of Duty or Treyarch or Activision, whoever is like keeping up with the game, is in there like Epic with Fortnite.
Yeah.
And they're making sure that it continues to be a successful, living, breathing thing.
Well,
you know?
and it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, though, because they have the money to do that, to continue to do that. Mm-hmm. EA does, too, but Battlefield is not nowhere near as successful as Call of Duty has been consistently.
Right.
So what they need to do is learn from their mistakes from the last launch, hopefully launch content-rich with a lot of free stuff, you know.
But it sounds like that's what they're doing with the testing of it. Like, as long as it comes out and it's not a broken,
Sure.
fucked up game,
Right.
at the very least, we'll be able to plug and play day one.
Yeah.
And
they should have, like, a free beta, let everyone get a taste.
Yeah.
Maybe have, like, a free week every once in a while to get people get in. And, you know, like they're saying with a free mode, a battle royale mode, I think that's going to help big time if it's good, as long as it's good.
Yeah. I'm not tired of the genre. Some people are like, oh, how many fucking battle royale games are we going to get? And I'm like, listen, if it's a first person or a third person shooter, give me a battle royale mode.
Sure, yeah.
You know how much fun it would be to play Battlefront battle royale?
Oh, yeah.
Star Wars battle royale? That'd be awesome.
It's another game that came, like, open, number 2 especially, came out, like, terrible.
Yeah.
And then eventually grew to be really good over time.
Right. And like you said, like if it was that in the beginning, people might still be playing it.
Yeah.
It might still be a game that
More
that they
people will still be
updated.
playing. I think people are still playing it now.
Yeah,
but
you
it's
can
like,
jump in, yeah.
It's not what it should have been, which is so disappointing. And I really, really hope all this super early, like, preview coverage is promising, because it's saying, let's let everyone know that we're working on this and we're taking it seriously ahead of time. It's not being rushed. You know, we have plans. There's train tracks ahead. You know, we know where we're going.
Right.
So that's what I'm most hopeful for, along with them saying it's going to be reminiscent of 3 and 4, which are my favorite Battlefield games. So
Going old school, going back to basics.
Yeah.
It's smart.
Yep.
Smart. If you're really trying to jump back in and kind of hit the soft reset button and say, like, all right, this is here we are. Just shaking off the rust,
Right.
the dust, and we're gonna give you guys a good product this time around. I'm with it.
Yep.
I'm with it. 'Cause,
Even like, you know, setting wise, we're not doing a far future game. We're not doing a World War I game. We're not doing a World War II game. We're gonna do essentially current times. You know, modern warfare. No TM. Game, and I think that's really smart, and that's hopefully indicative of what the game is going to be when we get it.
Well, we can only speculate for now until we get our hands on said beta, if there is one.
Yeah.
Until then, I'm excited.
Fingers
2042, it's right there.
Who reads? And I will say, now that you say that, it does make more sense, because the branding has always been something 42. So 1942, 2142, they did the Future Warfare one.
Yeah.
And then 2042.
Yeah.
I'm stupid.
Except for Battlefield 1.
Right. Well, and then the real Battlefield 1 was Battlefield 1942.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Yeah. It's strange.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I don't know. I'll tell you what you're not gonna do. Is probably should stop listening to your Bad Boy records for a little while. You should probably definitely not support Sean P. Diddy Combs right now or ever again. If the information that is steadily coming to light has any merit, which a lot of people are corroborating this stuff. So Diddy, they raided his compound, right?
Yeah.
It's always funny. These rich guys have compounds. They never can just be in a home somewhere.
Not
It's
even a
always
mansion.
like
A compound.
Yeah. It's I don't know, man. It's even that's enough to make you like super unlikable. Like, why do you need all this?
You know who probably has a compound? Mr. Beast.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a Beast compound?
There's definitely a Beast compound.
Is there a Beast basement?
Yeah, where he keeps all of his contestants.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
That's where they're getting the meat for the Lunchables. It's the losers of the games. It's like Sweeney Todd.
Yeah. It's just a contraption under there smushing stuff and chopping.
And like every game they lose, they just drop through a little chute. Yeah.
It was nice to meet you.
Sean P. Diddy Combs. I think we gave a lot of the details in the stuff that he was being accused of. Well, okay. So what happened, if I remember correctly, the first thing was the Cassie situation.
Yeah.
That kind of cracked everying wide
The video
open.
leaked, and then
People are like, oh, he's... Okay, so...
he went on the run, kind
Yeah.
of,
Yeah.
to Miami.
Right. And then...
The feds were like, stick around for a while.
And then it kind of felt like things went quiet. And every time you would bring up Diddy, that people would be like, "What's going on with that? Like,
Yeah.
what happened with that?"
Yeah.
Well, they raided his compound, and the stuff that they found was, first of all, enough to indict him
Yep.
and deny him bail.
Yeah.
And then he appealed, and they denied his appeal.
Again, yeah.
Can you just wrap your head around, because right now, as far as I understand it, he's not being charged with any violent crimes, right? He's being charged with sex trafficking, which obviously I know that there is sexual violence
it's
inherent to
inherently,
that. I get that.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not,
but directly to him, no, from what I understand.
Yeah.
It is much more of you orchestrated situations that are illegal.
right.
And also allegedly involved minors and trafficking sexual performers and partners from other states to where he was. So all of that is federal crime.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess that is what kind of makes him a flight risk, where like this gets to a federal level.
Well, and he clearly has the connections and money to go wherever he wants.
Yeah. You
So-
let him out, and you may never see him again.
Right. And you can make it like $1 billion bail, and he will find a way to make that.
Yeah. And have money left over.
Yes.
To like find himself in like fucking Bora Bora or something.
You know, he has like a safe house guy, right? Like,
Yeah.
He definitely has a guy that can make him disappear.
Well, I think once you start engaging in these sorts of practices, like you have to have that, right? You have to have that like ready to go
I would think so.
when you start doing this crazy shit.
Which is why I find it so fascinating that he was even caught. You know? Like, given his connection, his alleged connections, essentially what's looking like a criminal empire that he's been running alongside a professional one.
Yeah.
You would think he would have, feelers out there for the feds coming in. But apparently they did their jobs and surprised him, and, he's kind of left with egg on his face.
Well, black entertainer. There's only going to be... he's only going to be able to maintain that shit for so long.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
he didn't get to Cosby's age, but you know, he did it. He did what he was doing for a while before they finally caught on to it. Which is crazy to think about how long he's been famous, how long he's been in the public eye.
The early 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To at this point finally get caught doing just horrendous, unspeakable things.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I'm not trying to sound like a babe in the woods here, because I know that a lot of them do horrendous things.
Sure. And
But-
not to mention, he's got a lot of famous friends who are staying very quiet.
Right.
So there is a fog hanging over all of, I mean, I was going to say Hollywood, but not even, like every celebrity.
Entertainment in general.
Every entertainment fiefdom that you can, or fiefdom, I should say, that you could, fiefdom, blaze it, fiefdom that you could,
Chiefdom.
chiefdom, that you could possibly think of, and like across Hollywood, across music, entertainment, everything.
Literally, Diddy had his hands at some point in pretty much every industry, every entertainment industry you can think
Clothing, fashion, whatever.
Alcohol.
Yeah.
I mean, he that's how he became a billionaire. I mean, he literally has his hands in every kind of entertainment industry that you can.
Right.
So, and was a very, very powerful. I mean, he is the very definition of a mogul.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's and to top it all off, like his whole image was being Mr. Positive, Mr. Like he was DJ Khaled before DJ Khaled.
I'm uplifting the community.
I'm
a beacon of what you can be.
He once changed his name to Love, just the word love.
Ugh.
I mean, can you imagine being like one of his victims and seeing him on TV talking about, I don't want to be called Puffy no more. I want to be called Love because we just need to love each other, man. You know, we need peace, and I just want to represent love.
As an outsider, it has to make your skin crawl.
Yeah,
It's so gross. So gross. I mean, it's not only doing those things that he's alleged of doing, but also the covering up that I think is going to add extra charges to this, because there are many victims out there that are saying that they were blackmailed, threatened, coerced, etc., etc.
When all the fog lifts, man, I think we're gonna see a lot of people. Oh yeah,
You get a reckoning.
A reckoning is coming. A lot of people are saying like some very, very high profile. I mean, I don't want to say it. I think he's the greatest of all time, but his ties to Jay-Z, they really need some close examining.
We need some explanations.
Yeah, somebody needs to come out and say something, because right now,
Yeah.
it don't look good.
The silence is deafening.
It don't look good.
Yeah, unfortunately.
To just be like, it's like the people who were on the Epstein flight list were just
Exactly.
like, we were just hanging out. Like, just because I was there doesn't mean
RFK
I
Jr.
did anything. Yeah.
I met a ton of rapists in my
it's
time.
fine, dude. Like, what does that make me a rapist because I hang out with so many of them? Like, come
I
on.
don't think so.
That's preposterous.
Meanwhile, a worm is going.
The worm is saying all of this stuff.
Yeah. It's puppeting him from inside.
Yeah, so
Anyone got dirt? I want to eat some
I
dirt.
just want to eat dirt. I don't know. I have a hankering for dirt.
Sugar. Water. More.
I think it's gonna be I mean, anybody that was involved in any way, helping him cover it up, doing the things that he was doing with him.
Yeah.
I mean, there's such salacious, horrendous things that are coming out now that, like, I read some of these threads on Twitter and they're so horrible that you can't even really believe them.
Yeah.
Well, and before all of this stuff came out, you know, there had been people for years talking about
saying Diddy's a freak and he is into some weird shit.
Yeah.
And he's also really dangerous.
But the thing is, like, until you see any kind of firsthand accounts, it's always just stories from insiders who are like, y'all know Diddy's weird, right? And it's
Yeah.
like, well, I mean, easy for you to say, Mr. Nobody. You don't know what's going on. You don't know these people personally. You're going
Right.
to call this guy a weirdo because you read in the back of fucking, the Source magazine or something that somebody said something weird, or like you read.
I heard a rumor.
Yeah, and so it was easy to write off, especially when you're a kid. It's like, no,
Yeah.
not that guy.
Not that guy. He knew Biggie.
Yeah. And then the older you get, you're like, I don't know, man. I've encountered
That guy.
weird people in my life, just
Sure.
in my personal life.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what a man with unlimited resources is capable of.
Sure.
So yeah, it starts to become more and more believable. And then when the evidence comes out, you're like, yeah,
I can see that.
yeah. It's really not that hard to believe anymore.
Yeah.
It's really not that hard to believe.
Yeah, that's rough.
So, but even still, man, do you have some of the details of what they recovered in their raid? Like the baby oil stuff and all that?
I haven't seen that specifically, but yes, I do know of the baby oil.
The guns,
3 AR-15s disassembled with the serial numbers filed off.
That's Hitman shit. What are you talking about?
1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant that were quote typically used in their freak-offs.
Freak-offs.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a freak-off. It's a freak-off.
Prosecutors have spoken with, and this is from People, by the way. Prosecutors have spoken with more than 50 witnesses, many of whom had witnessed the alleged violence, and that law enforcement had gathered more than 90 cell phones, laptops, and iCloud accounts, along with additional thumb drives and other technological devices which supported the charges in the indictment. So, yeah, I mean, the cards have fallen, my friend.
Yeah.
It's over. It's Jover.
Well, if there is any justice in the world, it is over.
Yeah.
And he'll face swift and righteous justice.
Yeah.
But who knows, man? Stranger things have happened. I mean, they're talking about trying to get Weinstein out of jail.
Yeah.
On some weird like
Technicality.
yeah. So, who knows, man? I don't know. It's just crazy to. It's just hard to wrap your head around. Like, I don't know. I guess when you're a weirdo, such as Diddy, and you have unlimited resources, you probably get to the point where you're like, I'm untouchable.
Right.
I've been doing this
I'm a
for
god.
20 years.
No one is going to mess with me and my empire. And if you do, there will be a righteous violence aimed in your direction. Yeah. I mean, I think it is almost an over-the-top illustration of what people say money can do to you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
And power.
It would be comical if it wasn't so tragic, like what he's done to people.
If there weren't real victims behind this,
Yeah.
it would be like a drama.
Like the level to which he has ascended and the things that he's accused of doing.
Yes, a tragedy, a Greek tragedy.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, I'm sure we're going to be hearing more about this for years to come.
yeah. And we'll see what again, like, who is going to fall under this
Whomst.
once this kind of really hits a fever pitch.
Yeah.
Because right now we're in a weird, he's indicted and
Did nothing wrong.
and
Indicted me.
information is coming to light and all this stuff is happening. It's happening pretty fast, but man, once that evidence starts rolling out and it's like,
You got to believe there's stuff on those hard drives and
yeah,
cell phones,
yeah,
etc.,
etc.
Yeah. So
All right.
rough.
Yeah, rough. Celine,
Wow.
you sick bitch.
Nasty. That's so nasty.
You sick.
Knocks
Okay.
the gun out of your hand.
Let's end this on a positive
note.
Very punny, very punny.
Celine, our Chihuahua, is in frame. If you're listening.
yeah.
If you're watching.
No. if they're watching, they know.
Anyway, tonight it's time for the cheers of the
Cheers
week.
of the week.
All right, Obi, what's your cheers going to?
My cheers of the week goes to. Excuse me. It goes to Astrobot.
Astrobot.
It PlayStation exclusive game. Harkens back to simpler time in my childhood playing platformers. Haven't played a platformer in quite a while. But you know, I gotta say this is and it's cliche to say, but I'm gonna say it. This is such a great celebration of PlayStation, and being a PlayStation guy since I was yay big, it just hits all of the bases. It pulls on all the heartstrings, and more than anything, it's just a really fun game that I have to recommend for everyone with a PS5.
They really needed the goodwill right now, too, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, they sure did. I've seen the graphs of PlayStation's latest announcements, and it's like, it's so over. We're so back.
Yeah.
We're so over. We're so back. Fortunately, Astrobot is a we're so back moment.
Yeah.
And can't recommend it enough. I think it is, I mean, I haven't beaten it yet, so I don't want to give a full review at this point, but from what I've played, it's feeling like one of the best platformers I've ever played. The variety alone, it's a joy.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of fun. And if you're looking for something to break you out of like maybe a heavier game or, you know, countless Call of Duty hours, I think it's the perfect antidote to that because it's just a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Easy going.
Yeah, I got to play like 10, 15 minutes of it, and just, you know, yeah, it's just one of those fun old school platformers.
Easy
Jumping
breezy,
on
beautiful.
stuff, breaking
Yeah.
stuff, finding stuff,
Mm-hmm.
cute, fun references and everything like that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Collect-a-thon, but you don't need to get everything. You know, there's no pressure. It's just a fun game to play around in. Yeah.
All right, my cheers of the week, and this will bring us back to the oil change story, is to honest mechanics. Which is kind of burying the lead a little bit. The guy isn't really a mechanic. I mean, I guess he is. I don't know if you have to be like a certified mechanic to work at AutoZone, but
Technician, maybe.
technician, car technician, auto
Auto
technician,
tech, yeah.
auto tech. So, quick story. I went and got my oil changed today. Oil changed today. And as I was getting it changed, I went on Groupon. By the way, if you haven't done this in a while, go on Groupon. Because not for nothing, but they continuously drop really good coupons. Like you don't think about Groupon anymore because it's not really in like the cultural zeitgeist anymore. But especially now in these trying times, I would highly, highly suggest.
We need Groupon now more than ever.
Honestly, dude, go on there if you're looking for a quick little date night. If you're looking for like, oh, what should we do today? Oh, I guess not today. You do have to kind of plan ahead a little bit because a lot of them make you wait 24 hours before you can redeem the Groupon. But if let's say you had an idea. You're like, oh, I want to do Andretti's.
Yeah.
I wonder what that costs. While you're looking up the cost of Andretti's, I highly suggest you also go to Groupon and see if there's a coupon on there.
Yeah.
Anytime I get my oil changed, I go to Groupon and find, because it's on there constantly.
Yeah.
Valvoline, Express oil change, whatever. Right? So they're always on there. So I do that, get my oil changed, and the dude, he runs this like diagnostic of my car. And he comes back and he's basically like, I don't even know how this thing's still on the road, man. There's so, and I'm like, it's that dire. He didn't say that, but he came back with all this stuff where he's like,
it's not looking good.
We're past 100,000 miles, so you should get this changed, this fixed. You should probably look into that. And I'm like, okay.
Do you want to just leave it here?
Right. Well, okay.
You're safer just walking home.
So then he tells me we ran a diagnostic on your battery. And it came back and and he showed me this. He printed out a chart, and it was in color, and it was green was good, yellow was cautious, and then red was like, ugh.
Sure.
It's like your battery's about to explode.
It's the Resident Evil scale.
Yeah. And he's like, you're dangerously close to it getting in the red. And I was like, word? I just bought this battery like 2 months ago, tops.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know, man. It's not looking good. So I was like, I'm like, dude, I just bought this battery. So then finally he kind of just gives up and he's like, well, you should probably like take it back to where you got it and have them test it for you.
Definitely under warranty.
Oh yeah. It is.
Yeah.
It is. So I'm like, okay, little weird, but I had him print out all the information and I was like, I'll come back if need be. So I go back to AutoZone where I got the battery.
Yeah.
And before I tell the guy, I'm like, hey man, so I went and got my oil changed. And before I could even get the words out, he's like, they told you your battery's fucked and that you need to change it.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, what?
How did you know?
And he's like, I hear it 3 times a day, every day. And I'm like, what? And he's like, they're basically banking on you just going, well, I'm already here.
Yeah, sure, do it.
The hood's already up.
Yeah, and most people didn't just get a new battery. So they're like, oh, wow, yeah, I got a battery a couple years ago, so it's about time, I guess.
Yeah. They're basically playing the odds.
Yeah.
They're those express oil changes and 30-minute oil changes where you just drive through the thing and they're like, they probably see, I don't want to say hundreds of people a day, but it's probably a pretty high number.
They go on quantity for sure. That's why they're so quick. Is because it's like that means more money.
Right. It says 15 minutes at this place. 15-minute oil change. So like if you can get that many people in and out of there, let's say even a quarter of them take you up on your offer. That's hundreds of dollars in profit.
You want some wiper blades? We got wiper blades.
Right. He's like, how's the wiper blades? I'm like,
wiper fluid? You want some wiper fluid? We got wiper fluid.
And so, I don't know, I just wanted to give a cheers to the guy who was actually like, yeah, man, like they're trying to take advantage of you. I'll run our little diagnostic. You're fine. Because he could have come back and been like, yeah, you need to switch it out.
Yeah.
Right? And try to sell me on some other stuff or like try to get me to do this, that, and the other thing. But instead he's like, yeah, you grow up thinking like mechanics are scam artists.
Sure.
And any car related person is a scam artist. Like dealerships are full of scam artists and everything like that. And you just
especially if you're a first generation immigrant.
Oh yeah, big time. So
get that a lot.
You just don't want to be taken advantage of in these situations. So it's always nice when somebody can put you at ease and be like, you don't need that.
It's fine.
Anytime someone is like, I am taking money out of my own pocket to tell you, you don't need to do that thing. You don't need to spend that. You can just do this.
Yeah.
Like I had a guy at a gas station. I was trying to buy a charger. I was trying to buy a car charger. And he saw me down there and he was like, hey man, don't buy those.
You don't want them.
There's a Dollar Tree right across the street. You can get better chargers for less money over there. He actively is taking money out of his own business to just be like, don't do that.
Yeah.
You just need more people like that. Just being a good
person.
Man. Yeah.
It's anti-capitalist, just human interaction.
Just a human interaction. And it goes a long way, man. It it endears me, especially to this AutoZone, because I've been going there for years now, and I'm like, this is my AutoZone.
They're probably banking on that too, and just saying we'd rather keep a customer than try to upsell this one time and him realize the wool's being pulled over his eyes.
Yeah.
So
well, it worked.
It works out. Yeah, it works out. I will say, next time you need a battery, let me know. Costco has great batteries and a great warranty.
Okay.
For cheaper than you'll find anywhere else.
All right. We're Costco guys.
Not an ad. But I had to get a battery too just in the past month. So yeah, definitely check out Costco.
All right. Well, before we go and check out Costco, we got to review these beers, right?
Yeah.
So tonight's beer was the Bürgermeister, the Oktoberfest from Crooked Can Brewing.
Yeah.
And I wonder if Bürgermeister is the name of the beer or if that's just a cute little branding. Because Oktoberfest sells itself, right?
Yeah. I think the style they're going with is Oktoberfest style, even though it's technically a fest beer.
But it's the Bürgermeister.
But it's the Bürgermeister, I would assume.
Well, we don't have to assume what your score is.
It's true.
You can just tell us right now.
I'm going to tell you right now. For me, it's a 4.5. I think it is a step down from what we had last time.
We had the Sierra Nevada,
We
right?
had the Sierra Nevada last time. I think that is just a hair better.
Yeah.
But I still really enjoyed this one. It takes a lot for me to not like an Oktoberfest, I've found.
Yeah.
Or fest beer.
Yeah.
It's it's really my sweet spot of beer. It's so good. And I look forward to it every year. This one, I think the one downside for me, and the reason why I'm ranking it just a little bit lower, is that I think the maltiness is a little heavy-handed for me. Just, if you prefer a more malty Oktoberfest, you'll enjoy it. I still enjoyed it. But I would rather it be just a little bit lighter, just a hair. But other than that, highly enjoyable beer. I could, take a few more of these down. So recommend 4.5.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. It is the Oktoberfest style, the toasty, biscuity, malty. It is like the perfect like catch-all beer style.
Yeah.
Especially for fall.
Sure.
And this one does a really good job at that, but I agree with you. I am like, the maltier the better.
Well, you're a stout guy.
I am. But I do believe that a more balanced Oktoberfest beer, if this isn't like technically a Marzen, I guess. It was not right. I don't know, maybe. But I do believe that a more balanced Marzen would be, or Oktoberfest would be like malty, toasty, bready, biscuity, a little hoppy, little crispy. You want all of those things together. Because, I don't know, the sweeter and maltier you make the beer, the harder it is to drink a liter of it.
And that's kind of why I want to explain to people why it's a bad thing that this is a little overly sweet, a little overly malty. Because in the style, it is supposed to inherently be not quite crushable, but almost. Yeah. Like right there.
Yeah. It's part of the meal. You got sausage, you got bread, you got sauerkraut, you got all these like heavy things to eat.
Yeah.
And then you got the fest beer to soak it all up.
Exactly.
That's what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have multiple of those guys.
So I'm with you. 4.5. I think it's a unanimous 4.5.
Indeed.
For the Oktoberfest from
Bürgermeister.
All right, you think we got it, bud?
I know we got it.
Well, if Obi says we got it, then this episode is over. This has been the One Beer In podcast. For myself, Marco Dupa. For Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
Yeah, buddy.
Thank you guys for listening. Drink delicious beer and have yourself a beautiful evening.
We love you. Oktoberfest. Oktoberfest. Danke.